Hello, America. I am your guest host, Drake Watson, and welcome to I Got Your Six, People Helping People, where we talk to ordinary people doing extraordinary things. On today's show, we've got two great guests who do incredible things, not only for the community, but for a bigger cause that reaches so far beyond the Ohio Valley. I'm honored to be the guest host of tonight's show. The reason for that is Dirk, your primary host, Dirk Harkins, of course. The show just doesn't feel the same without him. And he's on a mission right now, doing what he does best. And he, as I've said before, is the embodiment of people helping people. He is that personified. And so in his quest to go help people, I have stepped up to the plate to fill in for him. And I hope I do a decent job. And I hope I do his role justice. I'm going to try to fill his shoes this evening. His shoes are a little bit bigger than mine. And the actions that he does are a little bit bigger than the things that I do, but I hope that we've provided you with a wonderful conversation this evening as we get set to bring you Amanda and Sal DeLuca. Glad to be joined by two people who help people as much as they can. Sal and Amanda DeLuca. Guys, thank you so much for joining I Got Your Six. It's been a while since, Amanda, you've been here on I Got Your Six, probably since November, and you guys have continued to accomplish numerous things that have made an impact in people's lives. And I guess the first thing, before we get to the what, I guess the why behind why you guys are passionate about helping people. You know, that's one of those things that I think the world is refreshed by. When you see people who have such a passion for helping people and giving back as much as they can, I think that's something that makes everybody's heart warm. And I'm curious as to kind of what the why is for you guys in that entire journey.
Mm-hmm. So a decade ago, our son, Jackson, was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. And when he was diagnosed, it felt like we knew what the steps were to take and we knew what we were going to do, school, therapy, all of these things that just sort of fell into place. But we really had to work to find these resources, especially in a rural community like ours. And as Jackson is now 12, we're worried and wondering what's next. So my philosophy, as Sal will say, is we'll build it. Then we'll build it. We'll fill the need. So we wanted to bring inclusive and meaningful resources to our rural community so that other families didn't feel alone, so that as our children with disabilities and special needs grow up, they have a community to stay in. So our why is Jackson. And then also the month before, we filed for nonprofit status in October of 2024. And the day that we took our daughter Monroe to the ER, that is when we got our nonprofit status letter. And it was something that we had to put on hold while we worked through Monroe's medical journey. And then after she passed in September of 2025, we needed somewhere to revive our feel good. We needed somewhere to give us purpose and intention again. And she was the most inclusive person I have ever known. She saw Jackson for exactly who he was, and she wanted to connect with him and help him. And it really helped us find a light when we needed a direction. And so between both of our children, I think that has been the biggest driving force for our why, is we want families to know that our community sees them and that our community is there for them lifelong.
Well, absolutely. And I think, especially having had the opportunity to watch Monroe essentially become a therapist in and of herself, it's even more befitting of some of the things that we're doing at Pathways. But especially pre-COVID, it's weird to say that now, but it's, like you said, it's been a decade where I was working and I was up in Dover, so it was a 45-minute each way drive, and then you would come home and we would have, either therapy in home or therapy potentially in Martins Ferry or Steubenville. That's a lot of time that we had to give up as a family, or I shouldn't say give up, but divide and conquer as a family that you lose to be able to spend together. And there's a lot of families in Harrison County that may not have the ability to travel that far or give up that amount of time, especially in after school during the school year. It makes it especially difficult. So being able to provide, resources here locally to make it easier on families going through a number of different situations, but having those resources here to be able to support them is really a huge driver for us.
Well, and you guys are going through a situation that, you're not necessarily the only ones. You're not unique. There are other families that go through these types of things, but you guys are doers, and you guys give back so much to the community, and you guys have taken it upon yourself to, I guess, do something about the things that you've noticed and the things that have occurred throughout your lives. And I guess, on a deeper level, what would be the inspiration for that? Obviously Monroe and Jackson, but beyond that, the willingness to give back and the willingness to not burrow away and hide and, just, I guess, sink in that, but the if you call it triumph, if whatever you call it, to come out on the other side and to continue to do good things for other people who may be going through similar situations.
If it's all right, I'm going to take the lead on this one. I'm going to give a slight correction. Amanda has always been the doer. I have always had to be kind of dragged along. She had joked about it before that a lot of the time it was once we identified that there wasn't the resources that we needed, she'll always kind of look at me and go, well, then we'll just do this. So now I've kind of learned that, if it's something that we can do and it's not available, then we're just going to go ahead and do it. But I think even more so, especially for me now, that's shifted a little bit. It's either a combination of her influence over many years of being together. That's turned me into a bit of a doer these days. But I think the amount of community support that we've seen has just been so incredible. So it's, for me, especially for me, it's my way of trying to give back to the community that was so giving for us.
Well, and Amanda, what makes you the doer, and what gives you, what gives you the answers, right? You talk about Sal maybe taking a backseat initially, and then you have Amanda who seems to have all the good ideas and all the answers and everything. What gives you those kinds of things?
So it's funny because you said that our journey is not unique and that we are not the only ones. And I was just presenting yesterday for a school district, and that is one of my slides exactly. Our journey is not unique. But I felt like we were the only ones in the beginning, because it takes a lot of bravery, I think, to identify and say, our family is different. And there are situations that are going to be uncomfortable and hard and out of our control. And so I connected with other moms, and they lived in states away.
Yeah.
There wasn't a community base here yet. I think yet is the important word. And not everyone is extroverted to put themselves out there that way. Sal is, again, reluctantly dragged along in these situations. And I didn't want another parent to feel like they didn't have someone they could pick up the phone and call. I didn't want them to think that there weren't resources available or someone who wouldn't sit down and say, I will help you figure this out. I think that's my biggest thing. Like you said, why am I a doer? Because I just want to fix it. I just want to help ease the burden, because when I feel like I have no control of anything else, these are the things that we can control. We can see that we can contribute. We can give Jackson a place to grow and thrive and belong. And I want that for other families, because our children deserve to grow up here and be adults here. And that was the big driving force of the now is Jackson's 12. What are the next things?
Right.
And we didn't have those answers. And the people that we were asking these questions to said, well, it's because you're not there yet. And I said, but why do we have to wait until we're at this cliff, at this jump off of what is next before we can start to build answers and have these conversations? And I think looking back at where we were when Jackson was diagnosed at the age of 2, if we would have known other people in this community, if we would have had a platform to have conversations, it could have changed so much, because we wouldn't have felt like we were just exhausted and Googling and hoping for answers.
Sure.
Yeah, Google has come a long way, and I don't think it was just that. I mean, not having a solid night's sleep for the better part of a decade will put a little wear and tear on you too. And I mean, even things like that, where we've identified just in the last year or two, a little bit of magnesium goes a really long way. I mean, something as simple as that, which again, you Google all of the terrifying things, and then you stop Googling or you stop doing your own research. So yeah, just I mean, trying to provide resources. I mean, even simple little things like, you know, some of the things that we've got going on within the community to allow families to feel like they can go out and be their genuine selves. You know, we had this conversation, and I forget who it was with down at the center the other day, but you know, there was concern about one of the children was, you know, being a little rough on some of the stuff, and our commentary has always been, let them. There's nothing in here that we can't fix or replace. That, you know, this is for them. If something breaks, something breaks.
Yeah. And we'll get to the poker run, we'll get to the center and everything else in a moment, but is it accurate to say that you guys, and I think what you just said is very analogous for life, you don't have all the answers until you have the answers. And I think that's something that is a great lesson to go through anybody who is going through anything that is adversarial or anything like that. But would you guys say that it's accurate to say that you were reactive people and now you've become proactive people?
I think because we finally can see the big picture. I will say, when you receive a diagnosis like autism or any other disability, your life changes. What we thought Jackson's life would look like is now different. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of things that we have to plan for and that we need assistance with and that we need to teach that other families, it just comes natural to their children. So we were in fight or flight for a really long time, and we were really, it felt like we were pushing the boulder up the hill and we were making no progress just because it was all coming at us so quickly. Now that Jackson is older and some of these skills have developed and grown, it feels like we can sort of give him a little more space so that we can sort of help people along the way of, this is where we've been and we see you and we honor that struggle. And I think, yes, we were being reactive because it was anything we could do, anything we could try, anyone who was willing to help. And now I've said from the time Jackson was 2, I will one day have a home and a place for all of our favorite people and all of our favorite providers, because I want that for every family and every child.
Right.
And we've been able to do that. These providers who have come into our home and worked with him in schools and worked with him in clinics believe in providing meaningful resources in rural communities just as much as we do. And they all jumped on and said yes. And I think that's a gift. And it really shows you that people believe in the mission of inclusion and helping and watching these individuals succeed.
Yeah, and you guys are young people, but even younger.
Can you say that again?
Even younger people are going to come along. Maybe people my age or a little bit younger will come along, and they will be faced with similar tasks or similar challenges, and they'll have a resource to look to because of the work that you guys are doing, which I think is incredible, and I think that's special, especially for a place like Harrison County, a place like rural Ohio, and the Appalachian Mountains and all those things. I want you guys, if you could, to tell me about the 29th. The 29th of August is coming up faster than we think, and you guys got that poker run. I want you to break down a little bit about what's going on there and, you know, everything behind it, everything that's going to take place, and, you know, kind of the whole synopsis on that.
So everything that we do is rooted in something that is meaningful for Monroe or for our family. So in the spring, we had the Monroe's Masters golf outing because she loved the Masters. And it was a big deal at our house with snacks and decorations. And so we wanted to replicate that because it was meaningful for her. Pap, my dad, Monroe's grandpa, Terry, has a motorcycle. And we have so many pictures and moments of her on the back with him. And he has said, I want to do this. And it was meaningful to them, and it's meaningful to her still because we have those memories and those moments. And we have to fund all of these things, right?
Sure.
We're a nonprofit organization, and we have to fund it so that families aren't facing the financial burden. That's another thing that's really important to us, is we want to be able to say yes and let it be easy. So we want to do really meaningful fundraisers so that it ties truly back to Monroe and our family and pathways. So Brightside, Tavern in Jewett, Ohio, who are Bobby and Paul are incredible people, and their granddaughter Leah and Monroe were really great friends, and they danced together, have agreed to help us and host this event. So on August 29th, we are having the Monroe's Memorial Poker Run. And the last mile from into Jewett is the Monroe's Memorial Mile. And it will be covered in peach, because we called her Peachy Girl.
Yeah.
And banners with her photos. And we just want to create a moment to remind everyone why they're there. And our motto for this poker run has been every mile matters. And I think that's why the Memorial Mile is so important. But also as we look at what Pathways is doing, every milestone, every win is a win. And I think it just all ties back beautifully to we can all contribute something. We can all help.
How many miles total for the record?
Well, we are going from Jewett to Amsterdam to Minerva.
Ooh. Racking them up.
We are. So they're going to be gone about 5 hours. We have 4 or 5 stops, but that last mile is going to be Monroe's Mile. And Sal, when we were planning the golf outing in the spring and now the poker run, I said, we are having events, not outings.
I was literally going to say it's not a fundraiser; it is a fundraising event.
Yes. So there will be swag, and we will have Brightside has lined up 2 great live bands to end the day. Everyone will be fed really well. We have chicken dinners, and then we've had some great raffle items donated so that we can continue to have an event and let everyone participate. So there is registration online now. If we look at the forecast, I think we're going to be great with weather. So I know that that's what bikers usually look for. It's looking like weather is going to be in our favor. You can pre-register, which we are asking people to do so that we can plan ahead and make sure we have enough dinners and enough merch. 90 miles.
It's going to be 90 miles. Insight and Intel tells us 90 miles.
Yes, insider information.
Well, when you guys think about these two things, motorcycles and fundraising events, as you said, Sal, aside from all the things that you're doing this for, what comes to mind? Because obviously these are things that are important to you guys and your children, and I'm curious as to what comes to your mind when you think of both motorcycles and fundraising events, helping the community.
So, like Sal said, events like these truly showcase Harrison County, I think, and our Ohio Valley, because community shows up. And it really brings us all together, and it helps us continue to highlight what Pathways is about and how we want people to see inclusion, and to highlight that we all can contribute something, while really keeping the main thread meaningful with Monroe's photos and her and Pap on the motorcycle, and with the swag. It's all peach themed, and it just helps everyone feel like they're a part of her story, and also helps us keep her name said every single day. I told Dirk that the last time we were here. I want a reason to say her name every single day, and I want other people to hear her name and say her name, because so many people prayed for her and rallied around our family, and like you said, showed up as a community. And we want to continue to have those moments where we can bring community together for such a great purpose.
Well, and I think, even to add on to that a little bit, some of the best, or we'll say most comical memories that I've got of Jackson and motorcycles is not necessarily riding with Pap, but his inability or his ability to just interact with everybody. Terry tells the story better, but I think they were at Brightside, and there was a gentleman that was obviously on a motorcycle and definitely looked the part at, as Terry would say, 6'6" and 300 and some pounds. And Jackson walked up to him and said hello, and then pretended that he was a cat, which Jackson is very creative. And he said that the interaction was just incredible. He was super kind. And I think that kind of blend of, so many kids in our community that are like Jackson, or even Jackson himself, sees everybody as just a person. there's no judgment, and we've had nothing but positive experiences. So I think that kind of blended community of maybe things that you wouldn't necessarily, think that would fit perfectly together that do. I think it's just a perfect culmination for this event.
And opportunities that may not seem inclusive, but Jackson's going to prove him wrong.
Oh yeah.
Well, and we've got several other things to get to, but in the follow-ups will probably, fall off here in a second. But what does it mean to you guys to witness somebody who, as you said, just sees people for who they are? Because, like, I understand that we don't live in a perfect world. We don't live in a world with perfect people who see everybody for just who they are. What has that taught you guys about, your son being able to extract just solely the personality out of people?
So
That's a beautiful thing.
I said Jackson has taught me sight. Monroe taught me the value of time. And when I talk to people yesterday, it was a group of educators. I said, Jackson was the perfect example of we were seeing behaviors, or he uses communication in a non-traditional way, and he needs people to see beyond that. And it's really taught us the power of the pause and giving everyone a moment, because like you said, it's not judging a book by its cover. It's not that we may ever know the whole story, but we get to influence this one chapter. What can we learn? What can we do with this time that we're given? And it's truly changed the way that we approach everything in life. I think we have learned to prioritize joy. We have learned what are big problems and small problems. And it's just really, it's given us the gift of sight in a way that not everybody is privileged to have.
No, and I mean, from my perspective, I would say, although I'm not always perfect in practice, a lot of patience. I was not necessarily the most patient person, as most of us aren't, especially in this day and age. But I have a tendency to try and be a bit more reserved and calm. Again, there are some days that are not great. He and I will go toe to toe over how loud the TV gets or how silly he's being, but a lot of patience. I always kind of default back to one of the jokes was actually with one of our providers down at the center. Usually if Amanda is calling, it's about something important. So, she'll be able to get back to her when she can. But usually if it has come down to the point where I am calling, there is a problem.
Yeah.
And Amanda is no longer allowed to talk on the phone. In order to keep the peace, I will interject myself. So, I think a lot of patience more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the Pathways Family Resource Center. That's a bit of a new thing for you guys. Something that was not discussed on the last time you were on I Got Your Six because of how new it is.
Mm-hmm.
So expound upon that and kind of discuss what that means for you guys.
Mm-hmm. So, as I said, I've told all of our favorite providers that one day I would have a home for all of us. And we laughed about it as if it was this big dream, because it is. Mm-hmm. And in February of this year, we started ordering furniture. In March, we started putting furniture together in what was to be our starter space, which was to last us, I think, a year. I think I said, give me a year. And it was a waiting room and 2 treatment rooms. And we were able to secure providers for speech and language therapy, feeding therapy, occupational therapy, ABA services, social skills groups, parent training, and then diagnostics. Well, before we were able to even welcome children into the doors for the space, we had to move, because we knew, based on the need and the wait list for services, that we had already outgrown the starter space.
Really?
So we...
which is a good thing, and then subsequently maybe a tough thing for you guys.
It was a little nerve-wracking.
But we didn't want families to sit on wait lists, because we knew what that felt like. So in May, we had the golf outing on Friday. On Saturday, we moved so that on Sunday we could make it look nice, and then Monday we welcomed kids.
Really?
So we opened the Pathways Family Resource Center in May, and we were able to serve about 19 families for social skills groups this summer. We have speech therapy, feeding therapy, and occupational therapy, and they have added days and providers so that children are not sitting on wait lists because they have full caseloads. We also have referred about a dozen families for diagnostics. And why that's important is, and people may not know, you can sit on a wait list for 18 to 24 months for an autism diagnosis.
Yeah, and I mean, even 10 years ago, we were looking at a 14-month-long wait list. Thank goodness that LeBron came back to Cleveland and won the NBA championship when he did, because there were cancellations that day for people going to the parade. So we got a call at, I think, 7 o'clock in the morning and absolutely blazed our way up to Akron Children's to get the appointment. And I mean, at that point, I think we were 4 months into a wait. So I mean, it can be an extremely lengthy process just to get the answer of, okay, here, but that helps you start the journey from there.
Yeah. Go more into the care, I guess, that you receive. You know, the difference between being on a wait list or, you know, being at the front end of that process, as opposed to, you know, getting the care that you've received and being on the back end of that process. What's that difference look like?
So typically, like with Jackson, we received a diagnosis at Akron Children's Hospital, and then they say, okay, here's your diagnosis. So we know now what we can bill to insurance, what, you know, therapies will be approved, and then you have to piece that together. We now have them all under one roof. So once you receive a diagnosis, we can say, okay, here are the providers that we have, and we have personally worked with. That's why it was also important to me. These are people that we have known and grown with and trusted. That's why we want them here. And instead of piecing it all together from 3 or 4 different offices or providers, we've brought them all under one roof. So Jackson receives speech therapy at 9 o'clock, and then he has occupational therapy at 9:30. Instead of us driving from Wheeling to Wintersville, it's all under one roof.
Oh, that's great.
And these providers know each other, and they can treat and provide input for each other, which also isn't the norm. So what we've built is really the dream model. We had a local...
Or at least we think.
We think. So we had a local hospital call Sal just a few weeks ago and say, how are you doing this? Nothing like this exists anywhere else. And Sal's like, well, have you met my wife?
How does that feel for you guys? I mean, you guys are, to me, that sounds like you guys are pioneers. And to be on the cutting edge of something like that, what kind of feeling does that give to you guys? Because we talk about Dirk's show. This is not my show. This is Dirk's show. And it's people helping people. And that is the epitome of what you guys are doing and what you guys are talking about. And that's got to feel incredible to know that you're making that kind of difference, to where folks like that are reaching out to you guys asking, how are you making this possible? Because it's changing so many lives.
It makes me feel like we're doing something right, but it also makes me feel like we need 9, 10, 12 of us, because I want it everywhere. I want everyone to have access to it. And because it is run under our nonprofit, we are not exclusively serving just families in Harrison County or just this age group. We have families who travel from all over. Every month we offer 4 free programs. The first Wednesday, the Soil and Water Conservation District has partnered with us to do like a nature series. The last Thursday of every month we have an adaptive art class, which I plan. The first month we were doing gumball machines. The second month we were doing hot air balloons, and kids can finger paint or sponge paint or use a paintbrush or
Markers, crayons, whatever they want to do.
Right, finger paint, whatever they want to do. Usually we do none of the above, and they end up watching each other play in the sensory room or paint a new picture.
Jump in the swing in the sensory room.
But it provides a social opportunity.
Yeah.
And then we also have a monthly play group consistently for birth to age 3, which is early intervention age, which is such a critical time and such a wonderful time. Early intervention changed everything for Jackson's development. We wouldn't be where we are now without them. And Harrison County numbers are low right now for them, and we want
Yeah.
to provide a platform to welcome families in to get to know these providers and know about these services, because it's such an important thing that we can offer in such a short window. But I wish we could do it everywhere. That's the goal. But we have families who are driving from Noble County. We have families who are coming from Toronto. We have families who are coming from Weirton, because nothing like this exists.
Yeah.
So we are the home and the hub, which is wonderful. But for Sal, that means I continue to ask for growth and change. And
Yeah. I don't even want to call it power, but with great, I guess, with great impact comes great responsibility, right? I have a number written down here that says $10,000. There's a scholarship, and you guys know a lot more about that than I do, and I'd like you guys to explain necessarily what that really entails.
So, was that in May?
it was right when
May
we got
May was a big month for you guys,
It was
right?
a big month.
it was right when we got back from the mission trip. It was April. So
It was
the very
April.
end of April.
So in April, we were able to, as Pathways, write a $10,000 scholarship to. We are the first school that we were able to do it with is Bishop John King Museo. Obviously, it is super critical or important to us as a family, because that's where Monroe and Jackson, or the Roadrunner as he so likes to be called, went to school. But one of the things that was extremely important for us was to make sure that he was in a program that we felt like worked best for him. And we really loved what we saw when we toured there almost a decade ago now. And the one downside of that is, with the way things are changing in that landscape, in order for us to be able to have Jackson and Monroe go to the same school, we were able to secure some scholarships, but especially with the way things are working right now, not, most families are able to utilize, and you speak public school system language better than I do, ed choice, and you can choose to send your children to whichever school. I think is kind of how it works. But because Jackson's on the autism scholarship specifically, he's not eligible for that. So this money was designed or designated to go to their program specifically for children within the HOPE program, and with kind of the implication or the push to direct it towards families that have children with siblings and are also in the HOPE program with AIDS, that require that one-to-one support that's not unique, or that's very unique these days in a lot of school districts, because it's hard to find enough providers to be able to give one-to-one. But that was something that was super important to us, was making sure that the kids could go to school together. It's something that she wanted, so.
So after Monroe passed, we needed somewhere for people to be able to contribute. Everybody wants to contribute and make a difference. So we established the Monroe's Mission Scholarship. And as Sal was saying, Jackson and Monroe went to a private school because of their special education program. And it was so important to her. And we have so many pictures of them in the cafeteria together, or on the playground together. And it was just pure joy that she got to see him. And we want other families to have that opportunity to send their children together. And Jackson is what they would consider a high needs student, because he needs a one-to-one aid support for safety and behavior management. And his scholarship money go to pay for those services, because they are so individualized. And for families who have more than one child, it's a financial toll.
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted, to be able to take that burden off of families' plates. And this year we were able to do that in the amount of $10,000.
What is your guys' relationships with public schools and the kind of care necessarily that they give to the things that you guys have made your mission?
So I think what is so hard right now is we have children with needs with a system that can't support it, and I don't just mean schools. I mean everywhere.
Yeah. Do you
When-
think it's an Appalachian thing? Because
I do.
you look at a lot of things, and naturally, Appalachia is underserved. And whether that be from a funding perspective, it could be infrastructure, it could be anything. And you guys, I guess, for anybody who is willing to go out on the front lines and make a difference for the people of the mountains, if you will, I mean, that's a tall task because this is an area that is traditionally underfunded.
Well, and I think the hardest part is what is pulling young families in, because Sal and I talk about it all the time. We didn't know about being a behavior technician. We didn't know the importance of intervention specialists. These weren't things that were talked about when we were in school and graduating and choosing careers. So it is a lot of younger individuals who are choosing these career paths. And when you think about what draws them into areas to serve, it's larger cities. It's places that have a lot of social opportunities or more housing options. And I think that is why it's so hard to pull people in and why we are seeing such a great need with not the same number of providers to support what is happening.
And what I think is somewhat unfortunate is your fellow champions in this space would be the other people who have experienced kind of the same things that you guys have gone through. And it's this, I don't want to call it a lack of proactivity, but you guys don't know anything about this stuff until you go through it.
Right.
And neither does any other family. And so now you guys are on the front lines and you have an opportunity to help people, but you don't gain other people who are out there helping other people until they've gone through the same thing. Whereas in maybe the bigger cities, you have people who have never experienced anything close to what you guys are going through, but they're still out there helping people navigate these issues and things like that. So I think that makes it a little bit of a challenge, and that just makes me commend what you guys do that much more. Now talk about the Community Chime Award. We talk about, I'm filling in for Dirk tonight and doing probably a little bit of a piss poor job of it, but Dirk is so special for the community. He's been so special for you guys and helping you guys achieve your goals and your missions and things like that. Talk about that award, if you would.
So I got to tell the story of where it originated yesterday. So if I can do that, then you can fill in.
That's the way it goes, is she?
So, again, right before Monroe passed, she wanted to go to school again. And we made it happen. Her school made it happen. Her teachers made it happen. And we had this beautiful lesson in their outdoor classroom about birds and bird watching, which was one of her special interests. And she got to have lunch with her friends and just have a wonderful day. It was a Friday. And after she passed, we donated a set of wind chimes for the outdoor classroom because it was just a beautiful day and it just helped. And we had a meeting with Jackson's team a few weeks after, and we were on the opposite end of the school, way down, 2 levels down, with all the doors closed, and I could hear these wind chimes blowing. And it was so loud. And as I looked around this room of people who showed up for him and loved him and held him up in a season that was so incredibly difficult for us and also for them because they knew Monroe also, I thought every single one of you is such a beacon of everything that we need, of inclusion, of empowerment, of mentorship. And as we could hear these wind chimes, I'm like, then we will honor these people. So the Community Chime Award stands for character, heart, inclusion, mentorship, and empowerment. And we open it up every quarter for pathways for people to nominate individuals in our community that show all of those things and spread messages of inclusion and really see our community as a whole. And Dirk was one of those people who was nominated, and we were able to surprise him and pull community together. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so it took a little bit of effort to coordinate it because
he's a busy man.
He is a busy man. It's like trying to get a hold of the president at that point. But I mean, just genuinely one of the nicest humans you would ever meet. I mean, you know that obviously, but a lot of people make the commentary around, he's a guy that would give you the shirt off of his back.
Yeah.
He would literally, if you asked it for him on the street, he would take it off his back. And he's willing to go out and fight the fight for the people that, I mean, kind of like us, but in a completely different way, are, in most need, or in a situation where they need the support the most and maybe aren't willing or able to go get it for themselves. So, I mean, on pure heart alone, I would say that he was a perfect fit to be the first recipient. But he's been incredibly supportive of us through our journey so far, as you've kind of alluded to. But yeah, just what a wonderful human being, and what a wonderful, to be able to give that to him.
He was the
as
first recipient in Harrison County.
It was incredible.
Such a big heart, a heart that I think is touching you guys, it's touching me, it's touching almost everything. I think I just felt it on my left shoulder, and he's several counties away right now, and that's so important. And you guys echo that sentiment by having big hearts and the willingness to give back. And one of the things that stuck out to me when you were speaking a moment ago, you'll never hear wind chimes the same again, will you?
Mm-mm.
I mean,
and I probably never noticed them before that either. And it was just, as I was looking at all these people, and it was like, it was a moment. It was a moment of, they held us up when we needed them without us even asking. And if you think about Dirk and this platform, he does it for people like Monroe. The amount of people he'll never be able to quantify and understand just on his platform alone.
I don't know if you would call it difficult, but you guys have a unique situation where you have to navigate those moments, as well as where you feel those are feel-good moments. They're also feel-good moments because, and they're moments that give you chills because of the implications. And you know they only exist because of other challenges that you've gone through in life. I mean, how do you navigate the what I would call treacherous waters of balancing those between continuing the fight? Because I think a lesser person would be satisfied with the feel-good moments. But you guys have those moments and you continue to keep fighting.
We have had to learn that grief and joy exist in the same moment. We've also had to learn that grief doesn't push pause and the world keeps going. And just because we have found ways to have joy doesn't mean we have forgotten. It also doesn't mean that it's not difficult. But Jackson needs us. We have a community that showed up for us, and it's the only thing we can do is to give back and to remain a part of this community. And it's just, you have a choice, but we are choosing to live for her and for Jackson.
Yeah, no, I mean, being able to keep her, I don't know, her spirit,
Legacy, love,
Sure.
mission. I mean, so many words that just describe.
kind of front and center through all of it, has been super critical and important for all of us. So, yeah. Don't get me started.
Sitting still also doesn't do us any good.
Sitting still does me good. I'm just not allowed.
You guys are champions of people helping people. You guys, as I've said before, you guys are on the front lines. One more time, the poker run, for maybe folks that have not caught the gist of that.
Yeah.
If you could recap that one more time before we get out of here, and just the vast impact that you guys are making in the community.
So Saturday, August 29th.
Which this will come out August 20th. I think my math is right.
Yeah.
I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but that's very close. That's very soon. That's a little over a week away.
Soon enough for us to know that the Weather Channel looks like it will be in our favor.
You got that 10-day. You got that. Can we get Nathan Shutt in here? I mean, come on. Jeff X-Line, anybody?
I have been on it. I've been looking at 30-day forecasts. I mean, any way I can keep track of it. But
Yeah.
August 29th.
August 29th, we are registration, biker breakfast, and kickstands up at Brightside Tavern in Jewett. Bobby and Paul Prevost have, again, just been wonderful, wonderful people and champions who have just linked arms with us because they also loved Monroe and have a strong connection to her and Terry and our family.
And Harrison County in general.
In Harrison County overall. Another set of chimes, I'd say. So registration will begin at 9 a.m. We will have donuts and coffee so that everyone can get sugared up and perked up for that 90-mile ride. We will have kickstands up at 11, and we have a beautiful scenic route planned out for the day. All of the stops along the route are excited to welcome our group. They want to provide snacks and a great atmosphere. And then once we loop back around at the end of the day, there will be chicken dinners, which is included in your ride, provided by Brightside. And we will have raffles, a lot of fun prizes to win and give away. We'll have prizes for the winning poker hand. I know nothing about that. I think that is your department. However, I can promise you the prizes are good. 50-50 drawing. All of the money goes back to supporting the Pathways Family Resource Center and the Monroe's Mission Scholarship so that we can continue to help families and remove those barriers and financial burdens. Every rider will leave with some fantastic swag. If you participated in the golf outing, the reusable cups are a big item. Everybody loved those, so now it's like a collector's series. We have some other fun items coming that are very, very Monroe-centered. And then the last mile, which if you're familiar with the drive from Scioto to Jewett, where the split is, where the church sits, I said, I want to keep that last section as her memorial mile. It's 1.1 miles from
if you draw a straight line, it is 1 mile from the turn to Brightside.
Yeah. So
That's
again,
awesome.
just perfect. Just as a moment to remind everyone why we're all there and why we all are just in it. And this community has just continued to blow us away, and we want to have everyone there to honor her and remember her and to be involved.
Yep. And then just as a quick plug, you can pre-register at pathwaysforinclusion.org. And if you are not if you're not a two-wheel type of person like me, I'm really only any good at this at making sure whoever has the best hand wins. But if you prefer four wheels, you can pre-register for just chicken dinners as well, to come out and be able to get a meal, enjoy some of the live entertainment that the folks over at Brightside, Bobby and Paul, are putting on.
Yep. So entertainment and chicken dinners start at 4:30. So if you just want to come and be a part of that and just see all the bikes roll in and see the community, so 4:30, you can pre-purchase chicken dinners online as well. Maybe win some fun raffles, participate in the 50-50, etc. But we, just like the golf outing, we're hoping that we can do this every single year and just watch it grow and hope that people come back because it was so meaningful, because it is so meaningful to us.
We're certainly looking forward to it, and I have to, on behalf of, Harco Media Network and I Got Your Six and Dirk and myself and everybody else, I got to thank you guys for coming on and sharing not only your story, but the impact that you've made throughout not only Harrison County, but the entire Appalachian region and the Ohio Valley and everything that encompasses that. And so I thank you guys so much for stopping by today, and appreciated hearing you guys talk.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
If you've made it this far, we appreciate you so much for joining the three of us in an incredible journey, an incredible conversation about awareness and just people helping people in general. And so with that said, on behalf of Dirk, myself, and everybody at Harco Media Network, God loves you. I've got your six. Until the next time.
Hello, America. If you enjoy watching I Got Your Six People Helping People, it is made possible by our presenting sponsor, Brightside Tavern in Jewett, Ohio. What a great couple, Bobby and Paul Prevost, to give back to the community, to be able to always constantly just give back to the community somewhere, some way, to veterans, to kids, anybody in trouble, to their community. And listen, They have a great Wednesday entertainment. You might know them being famous for their big Queen of Hearts on Wednesdays. They're way more than that. They're so generous and they're such loving people giving back to the community. They've provided entertainment, live entertainment, every Wednesday on the drawing night. Go out, check it out. Sunday fun day, you're looking for something to do after church or whatever. If you don't go to church, you're looking for a Sunday fun day, go to Brightside Tavern. All the way till the end of September, live entertainment. I've been seeing some great entertainment down there. Go out and support those locally who support you. Thank you for your sponsorship and all the things that you do for our community, Brightside Tavern.
Harco Media is proud to partner with D&E Electric of Ohio. Whether you've got power problems or simply planning an upgrade, go with D&E Electric. Licensed, insured, and bonded in Ohio and West Virginia, they handle all your electrical needs. From panel upgrades and lighting to full electrical installation, residential or commercial, they get the job done safely and done right the first time around. Trusted, reliable, local. Don't wait. Give them a call today, 740-546-3361. Once again, 740-546-3361. Call them today to power your home or business with confidence.